I'm William Kumwembe with Business Time. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And coming up in the program today, climate shocks continue to stifle tea industry growth. We have a report. And also in the program, insurance firm Britam enhances efforts to financial inclusion drive. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. This is Business Time, and in our main story in the program today, the Tea Research Foundation has reiterated the need for tea growers to adopt use of varieties tolerant to extreme weather conditions such as drought to boost output. This came out during a field day the foundation hosted last week. Farmers were offered some training on how to deal with persistent challenges brought about by climate change and enhanced marketing of tea products. TRF Chief Research Scientist is Nicholas Mpangwe, and said the objective of the meeting was to raise awareness on technologies farmers can use to meet international market requirements and demand. Chimwembe Mangazi has the whole story.
Tea Association of Malawi Chief Executive Officer Tonda Chinangwa says due to Cyclone Freddy last year, tea output was affected. However, he is confident that the rainfall pattern this year has been favorable, such that production may surpass the annual average of 45 million kilograms.
Last year was a bit of a challenge because of the cyclone, so we had a lot of rain that came within a short period, but it wasn't spread through the rest of the year. So that did affect the production of tea. This year we have started a little bit better compared to last year because the rains are a bit more spread, which are favorable for tea in production. Our average annual production is around 45 million kgs, which with this year's projections we should be able to achieve or exceed that, because as of end April we were at 26 million kgs, so we still have a couple of months to go. If we compare with other countries, last year Kenya had an overproduction of tea, so that has affected the tea prices this year, but also the demand for tea from Malawi. Hence we may have suppressed prices, but also maybe the demand might be reduced because of it.
During the field day, farmers were oriented on how to deal with persisting challenges brought about by climate change and enhance marketing of tea products. Tea Research Foundation Chief Research Scientist Nicholas Mpangwe says the objective was to raise awareness on technologies farmers can use to meet international tea market requirements and demand.
You know, tea production faces a number of challenges, be they due to climate change or ability to market the tea product outside the country. So we are looking at presenting strategies that growers can take to adapt or cope with those challenges. So the objective was to share with the growers on what can they do, are there technologies that they can take up so that they actually meet the requirements and or demands on the international market, as well as coping with the current climatic conditions in the fields. Okay, you know, tea is a perennial crop, which means once we have planted, it stays in the field for so many years. And because of that, you appreciate that conditions are not ideal each and every year. So we have years where we have droughts. We have years where it becomes too hot for the crop to cope. And when we have droughts, you end up with deaths of the plants in the field. When these temperatures are too hot, you end up with the foliage or the leaves on the plant being scorched.
Eastern Produce Malawi Group Manager Zacchaeus Maganga says tea producers benefit from the technology and information shared by TRF.
We benefit from the technology that they are releasing to us. We know a lot about which crops that would grow and be sustainable, and the high yielding, high quality, and drought tolerant. We benefit from tea research a lot. And the crop that will be financially viable, we get from Tea Research Foundation. And they tell us the clones that would suffice our needs.
tea is one of Malawi's cash crops.
One of the insurance firms in the country, Britam, says it is committed to contributing towards financial inclusion agenda and widening levels of insurance penetration. Britam Group Board Chairperson Karim Machuri said this after engaging new board members and management of Britam Malawi. He starts by giving the impression of the firm's performance.
We aim to be number 1 or number 2 in every of the countries that we operate, and we have achieved that in 3 countries, and Malawi is one of them. So we're proud that we are number 2 in Malawi. Obviously, we still want to do better, and we will do better. And with our new board and the experience they have, the network they have, we think that we're in a good position to actually exploit the synergies that will come from the group, but also the local environment, understanding the local business. So when you operate in Africa, you're always going to have shocks, and you're always going to have risks. But we're in the risk business. And the risk business means we understand risk, we're able to mitigate that risk, and we're able to work with our insurance to then see how we can price whatever risks we are covering and to pay off claims. So doing business in Africa has certain risks, but it also has certain benefits. I think we know that Africa has a huge population dividend. The next 20, 30, 40 years, the African population will grow, whereas other places the population will reduce. So with the fact that the penetration of insurance is very low in our markets, we still see huge opportunities. Even though there are risks, we don't think those risks are insurmountable. We believe in always having local directors who help us with the network and really understanding the local environment. So we have a new chairman who is Benedicto Koma. We have another director who is Robert Kapiapia. And then we have Gift Chikwakwa. Those are 3 new directors who've been appointed. And we wanted just to come and make sure that they understand Britam, they understand what Britam Holdings is thinking in terms of the strategy, and also for us to understand the local market. It's my first time to Malawi, so I'm excited to come to Malawi for the first time. There's a lot of learnings for us. It's a different market, but we've been here for a long time, and Britam has been doing very, very well. As you know, we are second in the market, second to another local company, but we think that we can do better in Malawi. We think there's a huge opportunity for growth, and we are here to support our local teams to obtain that growth. So the group that we are a part of is in 7 countries, and we are in sub-Saharan Africa, and we want to be the largest insurer, and we actually are the largest insurer in the regions that we operate. And we want to be local. We want to solve local problems. And we are looking at ways in which we can understand the local economy, understand what the local governments are trying to do. In most of our countries, agriculture is a big thing. So we're looking to see what can we do to help farmers to mitigate those risks. Right now, you know, we have had floods in Kenya. You had floods and a cyclone here, I think last year. And climate change is real. And one of the things we're trying to do is to create products, and our MD will talk about that speak to farmers, speak to the climate change issues, so that we can be relevant. So we want to be relevant. We want to understand what is the government strategy, and how can we be part of the local economy and the local business that is here.
Now, new Britam Malawi board chairperson is Benedicto Nkoma. He shares the vision and aspiration he has.
Our aspirations, and indeed my own aspirations, having gotten into this position, is to ensure that there is enhancement in penetration into the market. There's low penetration in the market, to bring about awareness that they need insurance, and more so now that there's a lot of headwinds coming from climate change. We've seen El Nino, we've seen the cyclones that have affected us, the floods that happened at the lake. So these have affected us, and it is now time for us to engage a lot of stakeholders, our clients, and even the potential clients, to start to access insurance products. So initially, in the past, it's been brick and mortar, where people would walk into the offices to get insurance, or indeed at the borders. But now we're trying to leverage on a lot of platforms. We're reaching out through the partnerships that we have with mobile companies, but also we are trying to really stamp up presence in the media, be it print, the digital media, so that people are aware of what we are offering. The interaction with the officials from Nairobi, the leadership, starting with the group chairman and the group MD, and indeed a lot of directors, has been amazing in that it has helped us to align the vision and the strategies that they have, not only for Malawi, but even for the region. So this has been very important to induct us into the Britam family. So the beauty about Britam is that they already have experience elsewhere in other markets. So it's easy to plug and play here in Malawi. We already have a pipeline of what we need to do. We're already engaging a lot of stakeholders. And with what is going on now, encouragement of the mega farms, we saw the tractors that were, that the loans that have been given out to the farmers. It is an opportunity for us to engage even more, not just the big farmers, but even those that are small farmers, smallholder farmers, to ensure that they access these products. Most of them, it's really, they just don't know that there's insurance for them. Some of them just think it's expensive, but as we engage them, they'll begin to appreciate that it's something that they need to do. What I want to encourage our clients is that firstly, maybe to thank them for being with us. Britam in Malawi has been here since 1958, so it's not a new player. We've been here for the longest time. It's a company that is run by the locals, much as indeed we're getting technical support, and the shareholding is indeed from Kenya. But you know what? The CEO is from Malawi, the chairman and the directors, most of the directors are Malawians. So we understand the economy, we understand the market. So they are welcome. We understand, we'll come up with products that are tailor-made to our environment. So thank you so very much for supporting us, and we look forward to dealing with you even more.
Remember, this is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. My name is Kumwembe. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And my name is Kumwembe. Moving on with the program, TNM has lost revenue amounting to over 1 billion kwacha from its data sales last week alone due to intermittent in an internet service supply. TNM Chief Executive Officer said during a press briefing that over 40,000 customers left the network to other alternative options due to the intermittent supply of the network. This follows recent undersea cable cuts which affected the company's ability to supply internet to its customers. The Malawi Stock Exchange listed integrated mobile phone network and ICT services said it spent about 1 billion kwacha, rather 4 billion kwacha, to restore internet services. On May 12th, the East and Southern Africa telecoms industry was affected by cuts to 2 undersea cables which connect vital internet services.
We currently provide, before these fiber cuts, we provide 40 gigabits per second. And that's growing. In fact, the data traffic in Malawi for TNM is almost doubling every year. So it's a continuous growth. And there's more and more Malawians using the internet. But now after the restoration, after this crisis, we actually doubled that to 80 gigabits per second. So that means every Malawian today is experiencing a far better quality than before this crisis last week happened. So that we can get speeds minimum, even in remote areas, of 100 megabits per second on 4G, which is a record, actually. First of all, we have to look at what happened. What happened is that there were 2 submarine cable cuts on the coast of South Africa, 42 kilometers outside the coast of South Africa. But equally, there were 2 submarine cuts, or several submarine cuts, in the Red Sea, based on the war in Gaza, that still have not repaired. Submarine cuts themselves are extremely rare. They one cut happens maybe once every 5 years. But not only did we have 2 cuts, we had 2 series of cuts within a few months. The last cuts that were done in South Africa happened on May 12th. And it affected 8 countries, including Malawi, and it affected over 80 million people. So when you have a submarine cut, which can take weeks for specialized equipment, ships, crews, expertise to go fix it, we had to find ways to get to other submarine cables over land, over the fiber that's going through different countries to get to other access points. So what we did is that we built 3 additional routes through Namibia, through Zambia, and through Mozambique to get to other landing stations to connect onto these global superhighways, the submarine cables. So we have the existing ones that we managed to reroute, and we built new ones. So that did 2 things. First, it added resilience, because unfortunately, terrestrial fiber cuts a lot. Construction, vandalism, it cuts. So, and the second thing is every time that we add a route, it adds capacity. So we diversified our routes. We created more routes. So before we had 4, now in total we'll have 8. And of course, those 8 now, we go from 40 and we double it to 80. Crisis and everything that we've done, we will have spent, by the time it's finished, roughly about 4 billion kwacha. We're actually extending into this week, actually all of them into this week. So whatever expired last week, they can keep using it now today to the end of this week. So we've depending on what kind of bundle it is, if it's a daily bundle, it's been extended 1 more day this week. A weekly bundle has been extended another week this week. And the monthly bundles will be extended again another week or more when they expired last week. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is we also, because people had a bad experience last week, now they have a great experience. So we want to give them free data to have that good experience, to try us again. So we're giving free data to the daily user, so much for the day, to weekly user, a little bit more for the week, and to the monthly user, even more, for them to experience our new internet.
Now, another business news, a group of angry indigenous contractors has petitioned the Roads Fund Administration demanding about 14 billion payments dating back to January this year. In a petition to Road Fund Administration Chief Executive Officer, the contractors have given the institution 7 days to square the dues or face an unspecified action. This is what the group's representative said.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you very much. We are here as contractors to give in a petition on behalf of the contractors that work with the Roads Authority, but we are paid by Road Fund Administration. Road Fund Administration stopped paying the contractors in January this year, mid-January this year. Ever since, we've tried to contact them, but up to date they haven't given us a concrete answer, or there hasn't been any proper communication so that we should know what exactly has happened. So you can see it's now 5 months, and we sat down as contractors and decided to come and give them a petition telling them what the non-payment is doing to us. Actually now a lot of contractors are facing problems with the banks. The banks are trying to repossess our properties, including machinery, equipment. Our cash flow is very bad right now. We hardly afford to do anything. As well as we've got a lot of lawsuits from the labor office, from our workers for non-payment as well. As such, when we sat down, that's when we thought that we should come and give in their petition.
And you've given them 7 days. What will happen if they don't pay you in seven days?
We've given them exactly 7 days, and actually we've asked them to give us feedback, where feedback will mean payments. And if the payments are not effected within the seven days that we've given them, we'll sit down as contractors and probably come up with another next course of action.
Now, but what is the Roads Fund Administration saying on the matter?
We have had challenges in terms of revenue correction from the side of levies. We rely 90% of our income. This is money that we used to pay the contractors for the fuel levy, and we have not been receiving fuel levies since January. Up to this time, we have not received any levies.
Well, with that story, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Kumwembe. Thank you for watching, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and bye for now.